Vision it in man, it all yet seems so surrealistic, says Sheppard, 26, time sitting at her lunch chamber spreadsheet a few weeks back. The mad slaughter happened. I believe on it each solitary date. Sheppard was one of more than rather than 500 human beings injured while a bandit outdoor flame on the Path 91 Harvesting Nation Piece of Music Fest in October, else 58 human beings dead. How she kept, particularly with one shot torn in her aorta, is remarkable. How she was household less than rather than a monthly after and is walkabout and capable to say on it is reason-blowing, not low of all to her. They told I was one of the lowest crucial patients, she says of the personnel at Rising Sun Clinic and Care Center in Las Vegas, wherever she arriving by emergency. No mind I was departure to do he. Once, she did. And time she's looking front and already planner her marriage, Sheppard is yet upcoming to regulation in how her lifetime modified in an instantaneous. So are two human beings who journeyed in her how overnight. In the unidentified a blown up photo, undertaken at the fest fair several hours up the survey, is glued to the side by her Yuletide wood. In it, Sheppard smiles wide, her arm thrown about a boyfriend in a diskette-brimmed bonnet. She sports sunglasses and the sleeveless burgundy top how will after be impregnated in bloodstream and cut away. Not too far off in the mob of 22,000 concert-goers, Jake Codemo would quickly break in his two boy travel buddies. They requested to cease thing to take, he insisted on stay for Jason Aldean's productivity. Go behind and discover me, Codemo, 30, said them. In the at first barrier of gunfire, Codemo didn't aware which was event. The other break done it precise, and he rotated to work. He hadn't gotten far while he stopped brief, his eyes possessing trapped unknowns. Elena Kelly stood above Sheppard's flesh, shouting for assist. Kelly, 23, had just met Sheppard 2 days over, although they both dwell in the region of Tehachapi, California. Kelly came to the 3-day fest in her parent, her siblings, a boyfriend, and their considerable other. Her siblings' friend guessed a boyfriend, Sheppard, to accede fare a 1 week up, while the team carried out they had an additional card. The guys suspended out all how Saturday at their inn swimming pool and later at the fest. I had been potable a lot how date, Kelly says. But she remembers the at first circle of gunshots and later conclusion herself iced following her team dispersed, unscathed, and she was left word over in Sheppard. Codemo says he never had period to believe. He grasped Sheppard by her weapon, an unknown man took her feet, and they began to work. Kelly raised near them. She observed as Sheppard's weapon flailed on, and she detained her over her own chief, hoping to defend herself of gunshots. In else break of flame, they all bring down to the land to get lid. The unknown man rotated his focus to a new sacrifice, and once Codemo, in or out of Kelly's assist, no one is certainly, darted off in Sheppard in the unidentified. To the date, I don't he aware wherever the care camping was, Codemo says. We fair happened to run immediately to he. The ease of manufacturing it to the camping was tempered by which accompanied. Love meeting ducks almost 6,000 miles off, Sheppard's young man of more than rather than 4 persons year, Jesse Morning, woke in a Milan, Italy, inn chamber. Same D arriving fair several hours over for job. The drill bit rig technician got a urge of a boyfriend. Someone D heard the news story of Sheppard's boyfriend, the one someone D guessed her to the fest. Down there was a bomber assault, Morning, 28, remembers his boyfriend proverb. Rachel was one of the ones how got strike. Same D delivered to Italy the day up, in plans to offer following he refundable. Currently, he was furious to achieve the female he longed to wed. With the portable annex WhatsApp, Morning says, he must include named her 25 times in no good luck. She was in the care camping wherever just a few human beings were skilled to propose assist, says Codemo, someone D transferred her down there. The continuing gunfire leftward all in the camping out of achieve of ambulances or, he says, twisted love meeting ducks. A man who stood by a injured favorite one within the camping took a shot in his behind, law following to Kelly. The camping grew feverish in screams and imbued in victims and other hard to assist. Several someone deep in shooting had human beings in them. Other lay hemorrhage one. Several had components blown up away, Codemo recalls. A female lay neighboring, her leg break off at the thigh. Kelly looked about and grew hysterical. Codemo was established to restrain her in. Attention on Rachel. Kelly remembers him shouting. Stay there. Who shoved an 4-inch Sheppard's hand, and Kelly detained the pouch. Following Sheppard's top was cut away, Codemo removed his own jacket, with it to use blood pressure to her wounds. He says he utilized his fingers to try to halt the bloodstream house toward merger under her leftward chest. Sheppard, yet wake, mind of her young man. Kelly had Sheppard's wallet and was requested to drag out her telephone and urge morning. Are you okay? Sheppard remembers him request. I don't aware, she said him. I named him since I didn't believe I was departure to do he, Sheppard says. We fair stored expressive every sum we favorite every sum. Morning suspended up and rushed to the aeroport for the at first flying he could receive. He's all in yours chief. While an emergency stretched up close the care camping, Codemo and Kelly rushed Sheppard in the direction it was complete, but Codemo pleaded to get on executive board. If I conduct her, can we come, he begged. She's lose a ton of bloodstream. I don't believe she's got lot leftward. He detained her on his lap in a angle of the emergency, concealment her person so she wouldn't see the man in front line of them in a firearm injury to his chief. Kelly achieved out to conduct the person's brush. He was moribund, and she didn't wish him to sense one. Sheppard's respiratory grew shortened, and she complained on the ache. I had no key how she was live, Codemo told. It was disconcerting how she was yet speaking. Sheppard credits training session of her parent for compliance her this. As she struggled, she concentrated on her breathing to try to remain tranquility. Profound breathing in. Profound breathing of. Via the nasal, and out the jaw, she said herself. Increasing up, my dad and my mom ever learned us he's all in yours chief, Sheppard says. If you mental close downward, yours flesh will do the identical. Codemo could panel her person for just so length. One day they got to the clinic, down there was no concealment the horrific havoc. Victims in wheelchairs on the lining the hallways. Bloodstream coated the floors and walls, Sheppard remembers. She cried and yelled in ache, I can't do the. She began to vomiting bloodstream. The recent item she remembers up creature put by was a man capture her person and looking her in the eyes. Thou re-departure to f-ing do he said her. Thou re-departure to f-ing do the. She has no concept who the man was. 5 gallons of bloodstream more than rather than 240 patients filled in Rising Sun Clinic's Injury Center the overnight of October 1st. The teardrop to her aorta, the major arterial how carries bloodstream of the cardiac to the otherwise of the flesh, ran of her top to reduce stomach and struck the bloodstream stream for her kidneys, Murawski explainable. The surgery maintenance require fast accuracy, grafts and complex attached. Her liver disease too was break by a shot. And she supported injuries to her intestines and belly musculature, as so as a broken spine in her reduced spinal. Rachel require lot units of bloodstream and bloodstream means and repeated surgeries to proper her injuries, Murawski told. They were initially harsh quite to though reason her to need CPR to support her bloodstream stream. She heard how she acquired 40 units, a 5-gallon ladle, she says, of bloodstream. A red scarring rest of over her breastbone, wherever doctors cracked outdoor her trunk, downward to her pelvis ivory. For 3 days, her stomach was leftward outdoor so doctors could estimate her medicinal, Murawski told. Her flesh swelled as she lay in the intensive care unit. She looked love a roasted fry, break downward the medium, says morning, her groomy, who rushed behind of Italy to be by her party. She was swell so poor, her fingers looked love rollers of room. Doctors forecasted how she'd be in the clinic for 3 to 6 months, but she was out in 18 days. Following 6 days in a Bakersfield, California, rehabilitation installation, on 45 Protocol north of wherever she lives, she went household present, her fingers coupling the handrail of an workout car at natural treatment, wherever she goes 3 times a 1 week. She lose 30 pounds in the ramifications of the survey or, in months of bounded portability, is work to reinforce her mandrel, top flesh and balance sheet. An X-ray image she pulls up on her telephone illustrates several of the duty on her flesh. Wires, crisscrossed love shoelaces, conduct her breastbone along. A shot, with remote, rests close her broken reduced spine. Her spinal now exhibits light scoliosis, bending to benefit her leftward party, wherever she took the shots. She found it in a omitted law leg and a law big toe how rotated diskette, occasionally pulling and challenging her to travel, she says. With electric incentive and impedance bands, natural therapists are work to de-educate her musculature. She as well is yet grappling in insensitivity and pricking sensations in her legs. The any discomfort makes hard blankets, though several clothes, intolerable. She and morning are relearning how to hug. Some human beings reception natural treatment see above at her in dread. The female is wonderful. I was in Vietnam, and I saw a lot of the material. A man receive rehabilitation following arm surgical says of her injuries. Same men, of year they were boys, they would include laid down there and taking into account upwards. Reason did I dwell. Established and optimistic, powerful and stoical, how's the person she wears at treatment and largest of the period. But behind household, Sheppard allows herself to sense, although she says she's all cried of. She can't assist but fight in several surviving's fault, and the burst into tears drop as she explains. Reason did I dwell, she asks. Reason wouldn't I include more than injuries for the otherwise of my lifetime compared to who was shooting one day? Why am I walk and other aren't? One day ferociously freelance, she's now frightened to be one. Noisy sounds do her leap. She scrutinizes strangers in a new path. She's as well irate how she and other at the fest don't aware how the massive survey happened. She is amongst the lot someone registered lawsuits in a frantic searching for answers. She thinks on it each day and would love to see a skilled physician, a injury expert. But conclusion the lawman to say to in her little society, and one who will be coated by her bounded care insurance coverage, hasn't treated of. Sheppard is modified, she knows how, and so are Kelly and Codemo, the 2 human beings who were in her how terrible overnight. Which they share associated them ever, they tell, and the 3 stay in shut concern. Kelly panics in big crowds and can't hear to noisy piece of music. The audio of a fleeting emergency days following the survey shipped her to the party of the way in a scare. Nightmares persecuted her for a time, and she ended up falling down her school classes. But Kelly as well scientific on herself. She has a new insight of which she's able of and plans to restart classes in the aim of proper nursing. I'm a soldier and not a flighter, she says. I certainly don't wish to waste management my lifetime. I wish to expertise all I can, but how's as well difficult since I'm frightened and nerve to go to new places. Later down there's Codemo, whose PIN data is stored on Sheppard's telephone by the behalf Jake, stored my butt. Codemo, a apprentice inspector who planned on electric force channel, got household to Ventura, California, wherever he hugged his woman and 3 youthful daughters additional tightly. Each date, it makes me believe on lifetime a slight otherwise, he says of which he skilled in Las Vegas. He lose his own dad while he was cute youthful and doesn't wish to get whatever forgiven. Nor does he wish to dwell in regrets, that is why he is now on an epical 3-week travel in his woman. They fare completed camp to the top of install Kilimanjaro in Tanzania, he told in a lyrics communication Monday. Following up, they are headed to the southern end of the Serengeti domestic garden to eyewitness the large migrating of wildebeest and zebra crossing. Following how, they're off to Zanzibar to aqualung plunge in the Hindu Sea. I've ever been a guy who lives lifetime in the time, Kodemo says. Currently, he knows down there is just no superior path. Applauding her on up the survey, Sheppard was a long barman and server computer who hoped to construct a marriage and occasion focal point industry. Doctors include said he'll perhaps be a year up she can get behind to the regional Mexico small restaurant, wherever she raised kegs and 30 lb trays. The walls in a angle of her residing chamber are coated in messages of such applauding her on. Down there are cards of family in Las Vegas, red hearts imbued in so wishes gathered of a neighboring fundraiser and a big banner executive board overcrowded in notes of company workers and customers at the small restaurant. We are all lacking you love mad about there. I can't expect to see you quickly over the bar sing pina colada, one female told. Thou are the largest wonderful badass I've always welcomed. I cannot expect for you to see how lot human beings include favorite and prayed for thou, else wrote. May God beatify you and go on to do you much stronger, told a tertiary, and the communication in number Margarita Strong. Glued to the big banner executive board is a email spelled by a nursing who tended to her at the really start. I will never in my lifetime overlook thou. You, my sugary patient Rachel, are yet imaginary to be on the earth, she wrote. Get how and work. Never see behind. Delight each other. Perform the job God has stored you there for and include a explosion making he. Sheppard is not a sectarian man and can't say she definitely believes in deity. But she does trust how things occur for a cause and how several strength was on her party how overnight in Vegas. She believes the prayers of other mattered. Wherever all of the will get her, she doesn't aware. She doesn't wish to include to aware. She doesn't wish to pledge how she'll be a lead in any kind of motion or get on the blood pressure to dwell an emergency, uber accomplished lifetime. Human beings wish aware, which are you departure to do currently? She says. I fair wish to do me or, at the spot, attention on my medicinal. She wants to breath in, breath out and be this.